welcome back to my YouTube channel, #Moviebae. I am Moviebae, and in this video I'm going to be recapping and reviewing episode 1, season 1, the series premiere of Average Joe, starring Dion Cole, now available on BET+. But before we get too into it though, I would like for y'all to drop down and hit the subscribe button. Thank you. Because here on Moviebae, I do reviews, reactions, and commentary to movies and television, and if that is the type of content that you like, you might as well stick around and hit the subscribe button. And if you find yourself enjoying my commentary along the way, don't be afraid to give me a thumbs up and or drop a comment down below and share your thoughts and opinion on my commentary or the content matter. Now, because this is a new show and you may or may not have heard about it, I am here to read you the synopsis. It is about Joe, who is a blue-collar plumber. He learns his recently deceased father lived a secret life and stole millions of dollars from dangerous people. Now, those people think Joe has the money. Joe must race against time to find the truth and the money. This show starts off with an inspired by a true story title card, which I found interesting upon my second watch. And then we follow two people into a funeral service, memorial service. Those people are Touch and Leon, who are Joe's best friends. Now, the man on the right is Touch. Now, Touch is a cop. However, he is on desk duty because he has a disturbing past that he is suffering from, and he is taking hard medication to cope with it. Now, on the left is Leon. Now, Leon is a black business owner. Okay, he owns a hardware store. However, his business is slowly going under because Home Depot is down the street and Lowe's is being built as well. Now, Leon also has a wife named Kathy, and we are introduced to her by when she walks into this memorial service. She has like this half a bouquet or half a dozen roses in her hands, and she sees all these beautiful lavish arrangements that were sent as their condolences. So what does she decide to do? She decides to put the card on her little bouquet of flowers and take her card off and puts it on to the biggest arrangement signed from Kathy and Leon. Now, although Kathy is married to Leon, she also works at this failing hardware store where she does nothing but sit on her phone all day, swiping through Tinder and keeping money out of the cash register by pocketing it herself. And y'all, she by far is my favorite character. She is off the chain, and she also has an addiction to true crime shows. Keep that in mind. Now we finally get to meet Joe and his grieving family. We have his wife, Angie, who's on the left, and their daughter, Jen, who is on the right. Now, during this memorial speech, he says that his father died in an accident, and his last words to him was, F Tom Brady. Now, everybody bust out laughing and they're like, yeah, F Tom Brady, F Tom Brady. They're in Pittsburgh, y'all. And then Kathy chimes in saying, yeah, I like to F him. And everybody just stops laughing like, what? What I tell y'all, I laughed for a cool minute off of that based off of their facial expressions alone. After the memorial service, we get to meet Jen's boyfriend, Dimitri. Y'all, I'll get into it a little bit later, but she introduces him like, hey dad, you remember Dimitri? And the dad is like, nah, I'm not sure I do. And then they exchange this very masculine handshake where the dad is obviously squeezing Dimitri's hand, and Dimitri though is squeezing back kind of hard to where it's off-putting to Joe. Now, the next day, we get Joe and Angie in the kitchen, and they're talking about their agenda for the day. We find out that Angie has some type of sickness, but because they're low on cash, that she has picked up a shift at the local diner. She also stated that she's going to do some gardening and stop by Home Depot. Of course, Joe is like, hey, do you mind stopping by Leon's shop? And she's like, heck no, the shop sucks and the prices are too high. Y'all know, like a black-owned business. Laughing at the prices of black-owned businesses because them hoes do be high. Anyhow, Joe shares that he has to go by his dad's tow truck shop to get some things or clear some things out. However, when he gets there, the door is already cracked and it looks like it has been broken into. He goes in, tries to figure things out, and he gets oops upside the head by these two guys here. Yes, that's Dimitri, Jen's boyfriend. Now, when he comes to, he finds out that Dimitri Dimitri, what are you doing here? Help me. And of course, Dimitri is the son of a mobster. Yes, we find out that Teddy, Joe's father, used to work for the Russian mob until he got too greedy and stole $10 million in a Lamborghini. And they are here to collect the dues. They're asking Joe to open up the safe, and Joe says, "What safe?" And they just go by one, breaking his fingers, torturing him until he gives them the combination to the safe that's in his father's office. Now, Joe is refusing to do so, but while Dimitri and his henchmen are distracted, Joe breaks free and takes them down one by one, shooting the henchman in the head and breaking Dimitri's neck. Meanwhile, Leon was driving by and decided to stop to check on Joe because he saw his van with the doors wide open. So when he bursts in, he sees the two dead bodies and Joe with a handful of broken fingers. Joe catches him up to speed and then turns to the safe and opens it. Leon was like, "Why didn't you just tell them the combination?" Joe said, "Because F them, that's why." Now, in the safe was $100,000 and a key to a safety deposit box. However, they don't know what the key could be used for. I was like, they really are some average Joes, huh? So Leon and Joe, they're trying to figure out what should they do about these two bodies. They decide that they're not going to go to the police, even though they have a friend named Touch that is on the force. Because Leon came in and he's helping Joe dispose of the bodies, he decides that he should get 20% of anything that they find, as well as his father's season tickets to the Steelers. And Joe agrees. Now, meanwhile, Angie and Jen are both trying to get in contact with their men, but they're having trouble doing so. So Angie decides that she's going to call Touch, the police officer friend, to see if he can contact Joe. Now, with the wife, I honestly feel like she was overreacting. I'm not married or anything, and I'll be concerned about my husband too, but I really felt like she jumped the gun by contacting Touch, a police officer, to see if he could contact her husband. Now, meanwhile, Jan isn't the only person that's contacting or trying to contact Dimitri. His Russian mafia parents, Nikolai, is also trying to get in contact with him, but the mother is extremely panicked. So Nikolai, because that's the only Russian names we know, Dimitri and Nikolai, he sends his henchmen to find his son because they haven't talked to him in the last 5 days. Touch does go by the tow truck shop and he finds Joe and Leon and the bodies, and everybody's thinking that he's gonna call it in, but what does Touch do? He says we shouldn't call it in. I just want 20%. And because I'm your inside man, because if anything comes up and the radios and scanners and losing paperwork, I do the most work. I have the most to lose. I deserve those season tickets to the Steelers. So Touch gets his 20% and the season tickets. Now, he also comes up with the plan that he and Leon are going to wrap the bodies and put them in Joe's trunk, especially because his hand is broken, and they're going to go their separate ways. At night, he is going to go to Joe's house so they can dispose of the bodies then. He also gives him this lie that he can tell his wife about what happened to his hand. Something about having a flat tire and the jack letting the car down on his hand. Now, the most important rule is no one, absolutely no one, can know about these bodies nor the money. So when Joe gets home to his wife, she asks what happens to his hand, and when I tell y'all he started stuttering, I was like, oh Lord, he's gonna crack. This isn't going to be good. Touch had something to do later on that evening, and we find that he puts his share of the money into an envelope, label it Donna, and slides it into a mailbox. Then he goes off into a frenzy. He starts hitting himself and using drugs, which puts him to sleep for the night, y'all. This plan is already going down the drain. Meanwhile, we know Nikolai sent his 2 henchmen out to go find his son. And tell me why these idiots, especially with a cop in on the plan, did not get rid of the unalived people's cell phones. Like, that is rule number 1. You turn the cell phone off and you dispose of it. But no, they did not do that. So the henchmen are following the locator on the cell phones. Big dummies. Leon has the henchman's cell phone and he's scrolling through that man's phone looking at all these pictures of all these Russian women while he's on the toilet, and one of the henchmen comes in and puts the silencer to his head, starts talking, tells him everything. The henchman's dead, Dimitri's dead, everybody's dead. I didn't do it though. And right as he's about to get shot, what happens? His superhero badass wife comes in and blows the henchman's head off. It's brains everywhere. She takes Leon's back to the kitchen where Leon was looking into a keys encyclopedia to see what type of key was found in the safe, and his wife immediately asks, what are you doing with a safety deposit box key? I'm like, bro, these are really some average Joes. They didn't know that was a safety deposit box. They didn't know to turn off the cell phones and get rid of them. These really are some regular average people that have no experience in crime. Now, the other cell phone, Dimitri's cell phone, is still on him. And as their daughter Jen is about to go to a friend's house, she calls her boyfriend once more and hears the ringing as she passes her dad's van. This girl here goes back in the house, and instead of asking, hey, why is Dimitri's phone going off in your van? She sneaks and gets her dad's keys, opens the vans, rips open the trash bag, and sees her unalived boyfriend in her dad's van, screaming to the top of her lungs. The parents run outside. She's still screaming. I'm like, girl, shut up. Because at this point, you know your dad did something illegal and you're just screaming to draw all of this attention to yourself. Shut up. They take their daughter back into the house, and we hear the voiceover of Touch stating how no one, absolutely no one, can know about the unalived bodies and the money. And now everybody literally knows. Everybody's entire family knows about what happened. Thank y'all so much for tuning into my review over episode 1, season 1 of Average Joe, starring Dion Cole. Once again, this is on BET Plus. If you have never heard about it, I advise you to go check it out. Episode 2 is out now. Episode 3 comes out on Thursday. I personally enjoyed this show. It's very frustrating at times because it's like, do these people not watch Law and Order or any crime documentaries whatsoever? Once again, thank you so much for tuning in. If you enjoy my commentary, don't forget to give me a thumbs up. Drop your comment down below if you have anything to say about the show or my commentary. And of course, consider subscribing. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.